Yep.
You'll be in here. Yeah.
Good luck, boys.
Thanks, man. Check, other commentator's going to be here as well, so it might be a bit of a tight squeeze. Yeah. What's happening, mate?
Not a lot, just was at the Boomers camp today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so that was this morning.
Where was that?
In Sac.
Hey, man, hey, mate.
Davey?
Hey, bro. Good.
How you going?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been wild.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy time. Oh, really? Wow, that's great. Yeah. I bet. Really? Gee whiz. Yeah. It's a bit of a nightmare, that whole thing. Hopefully Waverley. I'm a Waverley person, so. Really? Hopefully that is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good. Do you have the like the on-screen stuff? Do you want me to get
I've got a link.
Yeah.
We're also going to have apparently replay. So I've got a speed coming up with it.
Okay.
There'll be some synchronisation.
Sweet. What about you? What's been happening?
Not much, mate. We're just plodding along. Did Damien and I did Nunawading games a couple of weeks ago. It's just like, you just feel like you walk in, it's like everything's just up a notch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have the commentator links or not?
No, I don't.
You said you've seen all those before?
Yeah, I didn't get it this week.
Do you want me to send it to you?
Is there a spare plug?
I'll go get this for you.
Okay.
Might be
Scan it, one baby Euro, one a PowerPoint.
Yep. Good shout. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Nunawading Basketball Centre. It is the most wonderful time of the year. It is NBL1 finals time, and we've got a cracker of an elimination final coming up. Ben Waterworth alongside Liam Ellison here for the elimination final between the Nunawading Spectres and the Waverley Falcons. And Liam, as I welcome you into the commentary, you're coming from a Waverley perspective. This has been a remarkable rise from Waverley, 8 consecutive victories.
Absolutely, Ben. It's great to be here. Well, as you said, 8 victories in a row for the Waverley Falcons. Came from 3-9 they were at. They'd lost 4 games by a total of 12 points. And here they are all the way into the finals on an 8-game win streak. They went to Tassie and had 2 wins down there against Hobart and Launceston and ended up making the finals race.
So the Spectres coming in a little bit of patchy form in recent time. They're 2 wins and 2 losses from their past 4 games. The Nunawading Spectres, they have struggled a little bit at home in recent times. They were 6-1 at home, but they've actually lost their past 3 home games to Kilsyth most recently, then Ringwood, and most recently against Waverley. And we were together for that Waverley game, which was actually a bit of a scrappy game when you look at it. It was only 62 to 52, so a low-scoring game. But Tegan Cunningham was the difference between the two sides in the end, wasn't she?
She was fantastic, Tegan. I mean, as you said, she was the difference. She had a bevy of steals that afternoon and was really everywhere in that contest. A key reason why they were able to get over the top. And that was probably one of the games that started their run as well, the Falcons. The Spectres were missing a few in that contest and will be as well in this one, Ben. Kira Rowe and out for them.
Yeah, so Kira Rowe had been... she'd been a really important member of the Nunawading Spectres team for quite some time. She injured her hand against Eltham a couple of weeks ago. She's actually undergone surgery on that hand as well, and now, unfortunately, hasn't been able to come up. She was sort of touch and go. She's going to be a game day decision, but Coach Paul Flynn made the call, and the medical staff here at Nunawading not to play Kira Rowe tonight, which is a bit of a blow. But they do get back Chelsea D'Angelo, who's just come back from a very successful Australian Gems Under-19 World Cup campaign.
Absolutely. I mean, came oh so close to that gold medal as well, the Gems, just falling short in overtime against the US. But nonetheless, I mean, what a fantastic effort by that Gems team. And D'Angelo, a much needed in for this Spectres team as well, putting up just around 13.5 points per game and has been a real spark at the guard position for the Spectres.
So we talked about Tegan Cunningham beforehand. Waverley really got on top of Nunawading in the third quarter last time. Carly Mijovic had an almost game. If she gets going tonight, though, Waverley are going to be very hard to stop.
Absolutely. I mean, Ernst has been on fire this season. Obviously a sharpshooter, putting up 17.5 and nearly 40% from 3. And at her size and length, so hard to stop when shooting the basketball.
Here we go. NBL1 finals time from the graveyard. And Carly Ernst was the first player to get her hands on the basketball, but it's a Nunawading ball to start off with. And Maddie Garrick, who's been in such awesome form. 5 games for 20 points. She's averaging Garrick, and she starts perfectly. The first bucket goes to the Spectres.
Perfect start there for Maddie Garrick. Exactly what you want to see from the Nunawading perspective.
Now first look on offense for the Falcons. Here's Carly Ernst backing down on Shear, turning around and off target. And that's going to be a fascinating watch off the glass tonight. And Tonidu, the captain, on the fast break, tries to bring it away. And now Kathleen Shear with her first shot. Doesn't quite get the lucky drop. And Kelly Bowen, the captain for Waverley, who's having an outstanding 2019 campaign. Bowen again, sees Cunningham in board, but there's Brewster. Now she's got the start tonight, Rachel Brewster, normally comes off the bench. And she pulls up for 2. Well short, Maddie Garrick with the long rebound, but we saw Rachel Brewster, the last game we called, Liam, between Nunawading and Waverley. She tore it to shreds in that last quarter. She was electric.
Absolutely. I mean, nearly came back as well in that one. The Spectres, Waverley are in control for most of the contest. But she nearly brought them right back into it.
So Waverley actually led for the whole game. It was headlined by a 17-9 third quarter in that last encounter back in round 11. Tegan Cunningham had 8 points that afternoon, but both teams shot really, really poorly. So no doubt that's would have been something both teams would have liked to arrest this game. As Garrick for 3, knocks it down. Maddie Garrick, 5 points. Nunawading, 5 points.
Perfect start for the Nunawading Spectres and Maddie Garrick, and you can feel the excitement in the air here at the Graveyard, Ben. It's a real finals-like atmosphere at the moment.
You walked into the place and could just sort of sense everything had gone up a notch. Now, there's a foul off the ball. It is on the Falcons. It'll be the first foul of the game so far. It needs to be a baseline ball here for Waverley. Rather, it was on the Spectres, on Rebecca Pizzi, in fact. Her first personal foul. And they were looking for Cunningham in the key, just lost control, and Antoniadou comes up with the steal. The captain leading from the front. She just is able to get off to sheer, and that's off the feet of Carly Ernst, and back for a Waverley turnover in the end, a Nunawading ball. This is a good start for the Spectres.
Absolutely. Perfect start for Garrick as well with a bucket of her own. Look for Cunningham to match up on Maddie Garrick today. A real key match up in this one. Obviously, Garrick wasn't in uniform the last time these two teams played. Here she is on cue. Yeah,
she's looking to try and get free as much as she can. She was looking for sheer inside. Off Cunningham. Brewster for 2. Can't bank it off the glass. And Bowen comes down with the board. And she looks for the fast break. McCritsky so good in this situation, and that's exactly why first points for Waverley.
And great pass as well from Kelly Bowen ahead to Renee Majitsky, who's so often sort of considered the fourth string by many outside of Waverley circles, but she's so invaluable to what this team does. And Ben averages 6 rebounds per game, and 4 of them are offensive. Just a monster on the boards.
Here's Brewster working baseline, and she was out of bounds as the ball came towards her and almost conceded it. Trying to make the most of their offensive possessions at the moment. McCritsky's actually really hit some good form. You were mentioning over the past 4 weeks, averaging the 17 points and 8 rebounds over the past 4 weeks, and excellent in the Tasmanian double last week. And on cue, McCritsky did all the hard work and couldn't get it to go. And can Shear make them pay at the other end? Pizzi wasn't expecting it. Doesn't matter. It drops. And her first points, Rebecca Pizzi. Electric atmosphere at the Graveyard for this one. It is a do-or-die clash elimination final. McCritsky again can't get that one to go, and she runs into the advertising board behind the backboard. Brewster all by herself, and she's eating that for breakfast. Not on this occasion, though.
Got out of jail a bit there, the Falcons. As you said, Ben, Brewster, will put that away 9 times out of 10.
Gee, that's unfortunate for McCritsky. She was looking for the contact, but none forthcoming. Good defense deemed by the referee, by the Spectres, and a turnover is called. And it's a 7-2 lead for the Spectres. Antoniadou driving, and even on Carly Ernst gets it to go, and she's making a statement, the captain, early.
Lovely reverse lay-in there from Rachel Antoniadou. Getting the lay-in to go over the outstretched arm of Carly Ernst, all 6'5" of her.
Cunningham on Garrick. Garrick had the ascendancy offensively early. McCritsky driving along the baseline and reversing and missing another layup. That's 0 from 3 recently for McCritsky. And now Brewster at the other end is denied by Kelly Bowen. Get out of the house.
It's been an up and down game so far, Ben. Could be in for a cracker at the moment. Spectres off to a good start, though, here.
How important is Kelly Bowen, not only the captain, but defensively? For a player that only stands at 183 centimetres, her work off the glass is really important. Here's Shear. Oh, and is fouled as well. Count the points. She's going to the line, and Nunawading with the early advantage. Great start for the Spectres with an early 11-2 run. And Kathleen Shear with a perfect opportunity for a 3-point play, gets it to go.
Already out to a double-digit lead for the Spectres. Falcons need a response. Just one basket here halfway through the first.
Here's Donald. Oh, she's stripped by Garrick. And on the fast break, they go to work. D'Angelo wants to kick it out, and it's in good hands with Maddie Garrick. Can't get that one to drop. Shear, might have been some contact she copped on the way through, so it's still a Nunawading ball. Oh. So foul was called on the Falcons. She was unaware. She was heading back to the defensive end of the floor, but now she realises she's got a fresh 14. Garrick again. As Liam mentioned, this is going to be a fascinating matchup. Garrick v Cunningham. She steps back and gives it off to Shear for three. Kathleen Shear! And the graveyard is up and about.
Everything is going the way of the Spectres at the moment. If you're Waverley, you're probably okay with that shot. I mean, Ernst was right there, but it didn't matter. I mean, Kathleen Shear just got it to go. And here we are, 15-2 already.
6 points early for Kathleen Shear, but even we're halfway through this quarter and 4 of the 5 starters are already on the scoreboard for Nunawading and making a big statement with a 13-point advantage. And we talk about Waverley's season. They were 3-9 at one stage, the Falcons, and they've been able to win 8 consecutive games. They've had to do it. They've had to do it the hard way. It's been a taxing time, I suppose, to say the least. They had the weekend off last weekend due to the FIBA qualifier, or the weekend off time that was designated by NBL1. So they weren't able to continue that momentum last weekend, and maybe just a little bit slow to get out of the blocks.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I mean, yeah, as you said, 8 in a row. It's been a monster run back, and perhaps they didn't expect it better. I mean, I think there might have been some members of the Waverley team expecting their season to maybe end early a couple of months ago, but they've come roaring back, and all of a sudden they're once again in a bit of a spot of adversity at the moment, down by 13 points halfway through the first. Plenty of time to turn it around, but they've got to stop this red-hot Nunawading offense. They've got the ball moving. Its offense is humming, going through lots of hands, and the shooters from outside are looking on as well. They need to close out to them.
Here's Bowen with a deep 2. She's off target, and Garrick able to bring it down. 4 turnovers to 1 so far. Waverley with those 4 turnovers. And Antoniadou puts it up, and Ernst snatches it away from the hands of Nunawading to bring it down. Bowen tucked up deep in the corner, though, to Donald. Ernst always putting up that 3. It was a tough 3, though, and Kathleen Shear, with authority, brings down the defensive rebound. Up and down basketball, as you mentioned before, Liam. Explosive start. Antoniadou has played a big role in that. Pizzi, Shear, back to Pizzi. 1-on-1 with their opponent in Bygate, and she gets it to go.
What a start to the game, and we've said it so many times now, Ben, but 17-2. Not many would have seen this coming.
No.
This is a Waverley team that has been on a roll.
Especially considering how the last game between these two sides played out, which is a bit of a defensive scrap, and it really is danger times now for Waverley's Antoniadou with a left-hand finish. 19-2 in favour of the Spectres.
And that really exemplifies how this game has gone so far. Just opening up for Nunawading. Waverley's offense just a little stagnant. In contrast, Nunawading is getting everything they want at the moment.
Now Carly Ernst with 7 to shoot. Ooh. Kathleen Shear thought she went straight up in the cylinder, but the foul is called against Shear. That is her first personal and second team foul on the Spectres early. There's also 2 team fouls for the Falcons. What a wonderful first quarter this has been so far. Antoniadou takes a seat, but what a inspirational first 7 or so minutes she has played for her side. D'Angelo checking back in, as is Tessa Boyd for the first time. Carly Ernst, normally a reliable free throw shooter, 87% free throw shooter, Carly Ernst. Been a big year for her. She got married earlier this year, and it's her birthday on Thursday as well, so a belated happy birthday to Carly Ernst. She finally gets some points on the board for the Falcons. What a run they've had. Boyd working with Pizzi, who wants some movement from D'Angelo. D'Angelo's always driving to the basket, and she's scoring as well.
And that's what she's so good at, Ben. I mean, crafty inside, finding a way into the hoop for 2.
Coming off a successful campaign with the Gems in the Under-19 World Cup as Ernst for a deep 3. And well off target to Pretty tough threes taken by Carly Ernst. D'Angelo, the seas parted for her. Ernst may have got a hand in there, and she picks up the rebound nonetheless. Cunningham almost travelled. Bygate drives hard and well off target with that layup attempt.
Great team defense there from the Spectres. Garrick and Pizzi just coming to worry the Falcons out of it there.
Quick release from Garrick. Cunningham brings it down. So influential the last time these two sides met, Tegan Cunningham. She's going to back her against the wall at the moment. Donald just takes it herself. Aggressive drive, and she draws the contact and will go to the line to shoot two with her side down by 19 points.
Seemed like Sam Donald just sensed that something needed to be done there. There was a sense of urgency about that drive. So often she's the facilitator for this team. Puts up just 4 points per game, but gives you five dimes as well. On that occasion, saw her team only has the one field goal here as we near the end of the first period. Needed to make something happen as she gets the first free throw to drop.
68% free throw shooter, normally Sam McDonald, the 25-year-old. And she's good on both attempts. So a couple of free throws. There's a really healthy contingent of Waverley supporters who have made the trek north, just up the road to Nunawading's home court tonight. A little bit shell-shocked by what they've seen, though. Sheer, spinning, tough shot. And Ernst starting to get her hands on the basketball. Rebound number 3 for Carly Ernst. Locke all by herself, just on the court from the corner. Knocks it down. And a big field goal from Locke.
And didn't they need that? You can see the Waverley bench getting up, cheering on their teammates. That's a real morale lifter here. Back to 13 points now.
Slater also on the court, feeding Tessa Boyd. So the bench having a good look at this early for Nunawading. D'Angelo tries to get around 2. She did. She was looking for Slater, who found herself free in the corner, and D'Angelo was fouled. And looks like Donald has picked up the foul, her first personal and third team foul for the Falcons.
Antonia Du to come back in. Has 7 points already to her name. Wasn't she fantastic over that first couple of minutes for the Spectres?
I think she wanted to make amends for her last game against Waverley. She only scored the 4 points and had the 4 fouls, so certainly eclipsed that already. Oh, gee, she had a really good look at the basket before Donald got a hand in there. Garrick might hit the 3 and gets the lucky drop. Maddie Garrick, the star for Nunawading, gets it to go.
Well, she doesn't need much space, Ben.
No.
Tegan Cunningham was right there. Such a quick release as well from Garrick.
Pretty handy inclusion when you can bring her in just 5 games before the final series as Cunningham's shot falls short. Donald gets the rebound. Cunningham can't get the follow-up shot. And Slater can't get it away from Cunningham, who on the third attempt, third time lucky, gets it to drop. Final minute of this first quarter. The Falcons did trail by 19 points at one stage, but have reduced it to 14. The Waverley crowd wanted to travel against Antonia Du, none forthcoming. D'Angelo found a way through and missed the teardrop.
Had everyone fooled with that move.
Paul Flynn just questioning the referee about why that wasn't it's called just beforehand. 14 seconds on the shot clock here. D'Angelo being busy early. Again was looking for Shear, but Locke read that ball nicely. Ernst for 3, denied by Shear. That was off her hands. Garrick keeps it alive, straight to Locke, and Luck's a fortune for the Falcons.
How about the work of Nia Locke? She's been just what this Waverley team has needed off the bench. Come in and hit a corner 3, made some defensive stops, and then comes up there with another opportunistic play. Perfect for the Waverley, the coaching staff.
So essentially nothing between the game clock and the shot clock here. 6 to shoot. Shear will back down on Ernst, lost control, looks for D'Angelo, reverse, gets it to go! A buzzer beater from Chelsea D'Angelo, and Nunawading with a 14-point lead at quarter time. 26 to 12 at the first change. Last time these two sides met, the Spectres only managed 52 points for the entire game. They've already got half of that total at quarter time. Liam Ellison, what a start for the Spectres.
They look unstoppable at the moment, Ben. As you said, 26 points, shooting the ball at a 48% clip. Rachel Antonia Du has been fantastic, as has Chelsea D'Angelo with that last bucket there. And meanwhile, they've held the Falcons to 4 of 15 from the field. So doing it on both ends at the moment. The offense is humming, and they look hard to stop. The Falcons had a bit of an answer there from Nia Locke towards the end, but overall, a lot of work to do for Coach Elias Palianis.
Yep, it's a quiet start so far for Carly Ernst, who's certainly one of this team's broadest. We saw Tegan Cunningham starting to get her hands on the basketball and starting to get a little bit more involved, but really, Carly Ernst, she's putting up 10 3-point shots a game. It's just in her nature. At any level, she's always shooting that three. If they're not knocking down, though, sometimes it can come back to bite the Falcons.
Absolutely, and when they're rolling as well, sometimes they can be, coming downhill. The Falcons, she'll get a few transition threes, and all of a sudden she can hit 2 or 3 in a very short period of time. But it hasn't been happening at the moment for Waverley. And if it can open up a little bit more, she could shoot her team back into it pretty quickly.
So there's 3 finals going on the women's side of NBL1 finals tonight, where our game's starting at 5:30 Eastern Time between the Spectres and the Falcons, an elimination final. Also an elimination final between the Raiders and the Rangers as well. And there's a qualifying final between the Supercats and the Hawks. There's already been one game played, and that was last night, Liam. And the Kilsyth Cobras, you have to call it a ball over. 85-70, defeating the previously one-loss Bendigo Braves. It only lost one game for the entire season, and the Kilsyth Cobras able to knock them down last night. That's huge for Lauren Nicholson and the team out there at Kilsyth.
That was a huge result. I mean, when I saw that score come through, Ben, I was quite shocked. But I did call the Cobras in their last regular season game, and they were fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, Sarah Booth was awesome in that one, had about 20 points in the first quarter, and as a team played fantastic. So looking at it like that, it's not too much of a surprise.
And Sarah Booth had a huge game last night, another big double-double. Lauren Nicholson also having a big game as well. So underway in this second quarter, Carly Ernst was going to work and driving and was fouled. And Kathleen Shear was called for the foul, and as a result, we'll have a seat on the bench, and Sarah Slater will check back into the game. So Carly Ernst, it's her second missed free throw. Last time she played against Nunawading, she had the 13 points and 9 rebounds. And she's 2 for 4 so far from the stripe tonight to reduce the margin to 13 points in early stages of this second term. And Tonidu inside for Pizzi with 11 to shoot and banks it off the glass. Lovely finish, Rebecca Pizzi. Paul Flynn, the coach of Nunawading, very animated on the bench tonight. He knows what's on the line for his side. They've been sitting near that top 4 all season, but just a couple of late losses proving costly. And there's Pizzi at the defensive end of the court, getting a block in there and setting Maddie Garrick on her way, but she loses control.
Once again, that hustle from Nia Locke comes up with the second effort just moments after getting blocked by Pizzi.
Ewan with control and retreats to Ernst. 10 seconds to shoot for Carly Ernst. Oh, nice little 1-2 there with Bygate, and she gets the easy layup in the end.
Don't often see Carly Ernst running the pick and roll as the ball handler, but it worked well on that occasion.
And Toniadu, all nylon from beyond the arc. Huge game so far from the captain. She's in double figures. 10 points, going at 80% from the field.
Yeah, and she really set the tone as well, as we said, right at the start, and as the Spectres went on that 17-2 run in the first 5 minutes.
They lose control. The idea was right, trying to find Cunningham in the corner, but execution a little off. So 31-15 lead for the Spectres, and they've put themselves in the box seat early. But we know in the game of basketball how quickly the momentum can change when a team gets on a run. And the Falcons get on a run now. D'Angelo fooled them all and got through. Chelsea D'Angelo, so dynamic when she's driving to the basket.
She's got a bit of that about her game, doesn't she, Ben? Can find a way to the hoop when you least expect it. Had the defenders fooled.
Cunningham spinning on Garrick, turning around on Garrick, but missing. And Garrick's rebounding. Showing her worth off the glass, and there's a foul called on the Falcons. reach around foul. Looks like umpire, or referee rather, pointing to contact around the abs. And Cunningham's called for her first personal. Wasn't too pleased with the call. Tegan Cunningham neither.
Probably a pretty ambitious attempt as well of a seal. Anytime you're reaching around the body like that, you've got to be perfect to get away with it.
She had 4 steals last time she played Nunawading. She was arguably the difference between the two sides. So dynamic she was. And Tonidu for D'Angelo. Travel called against Chelsea D'Angelo. Again, trying to be aggressive D'Angelo. And the last home game that the Spectres played in was against Kilsyth, and we're just searching for the Spectres to drive right throughout, because D'Angelo wasn't playing it. Immediately, you can just see the difference she's making as Bygate with a tough attempt is off target. Slater brings it away. And Tonidu directing traffic and then running straight into traffic. And Donald's called for the foul. And she's flummoxed, as is the Waverley Falcons crowd. And it's her second personal foul. Garrick will take a seat. Rachel Brewster will check back in and have the inbounds pass. The captain for Waverley checking back in. Kelly Bowen for Cunningham. And a travel this time called against Antoniou, almost exactly the same spot that D'Angelo was called. And Paul Finn, you can probably see on our camera as well, just questioning the referee's call.
Taking the opportunity to have a conference with the referee.
33-15, Spectres lead. Nia Locke. The microwave off the bench early. What a spark she's been. Behind the back on D'Angelo, turning around on D'Angelo. Missing. Bowen, strong rebound and a strong finish as well. Well played, Kelly Bowen. And a big past 2 months for Waverley. And really been a big reason why this team has been able to surge into the finals in NBL1. Pizzy for a rare 3. And that might be why it's rare. All oxygen on that shot from Rebecca Pizzy, but she is one of the best and most efficient inside the arc shooters in NBL1. Having a much improved season. Bowen for 3. And she's well off target, all oxygen on that shot. And Rachel Brewster able to bring it away.
Well, the Spectres have slowed down just a little bit here in this second period. They've got 7 points so far in the second quarter. What can they do now?
Pizzy has another look. Offensive rebound. Again, denied by Waverley. This time, Bygate swatting it away. Donald. Ernst from deep for 3. Misses, but there's Kelly Bowen with another rebound and the rejection from D'Angelo. Bowen wanted the contact, none forthcoming. A bit of a block fiesta early in this game. And Tonidu straight down the key, straight through for 2.
Bit of a breakdown there for the Falcons. Antoniou got around Nia Locke and there was no help forthcoming.
12 points for Antoniou, going at 83% clip. So every time the Falcons have challenged in the last 10 minutes or so of game time, the Spectres have had an answer. Bowen stepping back, knocks it down. And she's having a good game, Kelly Bowen.
She's looked locked in over these last couple of minutes. Finding a way to the right spots is Brewster.
She's off target with that shot. Now Locke at the other end. One-on-one with Antoniou. Antoniou takes the contact and the travel is called, but Antoniou's a little worse for wear. Can see her just clutching over. There's the contact that she had, but you can see she's a little worse for wear. Just as she took the knock to the sternum area, she's ploughing through, the captain. That's what you'd love to see from a coach's perspective. Shear. 10 to shoot. Oh, Maiko herself spinning around. Nice work for Slater, who she probably could have kept on going. Put on the floor, but nonetheless didn't matter. She gets her first 2 of the game.
Starting to regain control of this contest now are the Spectres that sort of started to go back towards that more gritty, low-scoring defensive game as another block by Shear. But the Spectres just continue to score and extend that lead.
It's like they're building another graveyard. That many blocks on blocks tonight from the Spectres. They lead 37-19, an 18-point lead. They've been able to regain control again of this contest. It's an 11-7 second term so far. This lady has been right in the thick of it, leading the way. Antoniadou working with Maddie Garrick. Almost knocked out of her hands. Saw Slater, but Makritsky on the court. It's got a timely hand in there to force the turnover. Donald. Bowen for three. Boom!
Well, the Waverley captain, she's keeping him in it at the moment, being the player of the period for Waverley. 15 points down, though. Nunawading are threatening to pull away here to a match-winning lead.
The two captains have been excellent for their respective teams so far. Antoniadou, there's an assist for Kathleen Shear. Excellent recognition again from Antoniadou.
Got a bit lost there, the Falcons. Far too much space on that low block.
8 points for Kathleen Shear, 4 rebounds, 5 assists as well for Shear as Cunningham with the fadeaway misses and Antoniadou brings down the board. And Brewster, she loves it on the high tempo. Shear, Slater, she misses. Shear rebounds and is fouled. And the bench is up as well. They sense the momentum that they've been able to produce and create here in Nunawading as they lead by 17 points.
And Kathleen Shear has been unreal, especially in this second period. Up to 8 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists as well, Ben, to go along with 2 blocks. She's been doing a bit of everything.
On triple-double watch for Kathleen Shear, who's usually an 80% free throw shooter. She's been in excellent form in the past 4 weeks, it has to be said. As she misses that second attempt, but Brewster is there for Shear. Antoniadou with 7 to shoot. They've got another look here. Nunawading. Shear again, this time inside for Pizzi, who's fouled, and will go to the line. Just talking about Kathleen Shear before her last 4 weeks. 12 points, 12 rebounds. Second game, 23.7 rebounds, 9 assists. Third game, 11.7 rebounds. Most recent game, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. So she comes in very good form.
Stepping up and doing so on the big stage here this evening as well.
Pizzi gets her first free throw attempt to go.
And the Spectres will be in the bonus for the remaining 3 minutes here in the first half.
Donald with 3 personal, 2 for Carly Ernst as well, foul-wise. Miller on the court, feeding Cunningham for Waverley. Ernst trying to get around Pizzi, takes the responsibility herself, Carly Ernst, and gets a mid-range 2 to go. That is her, just her second bucket of the game so far, Carly Ernst. That's her first field goal. She had 2 free throws go. Shear all by herself for 3. Kathleen Shear is putting on a clinic at the graveyard.
All of a sudden, Ben, out to a 21-point ball game. Kathleen Shear is pulling her team away at the moment as Cunningham drives in. Looks like another block for the Spectres. Block party at the moment.
Ernst, that's a tough mid-range 2. Cunningham in one motion tried to put it up off the offensive board. None forthcoming, gets it back, falls short, and Antoniadou brings it away. And now it's a 2-on-2, but she saw that Waverley had the advantage at the other end of the floor, so she controls the tempo. Antoniadou goes to work, kicks it out for Garrick. Around Cunningham, it's party trick time. Antoniadou for 3!
How about the ball movement there from Antoniadou and Maddie Garrick? The no-look pass as well from Garrick for the assist. Out to 24 points now. Nunawading are playing some fantastic team basketball right now.
Arguably, this is the best the Spectres have looked all season. And they've saved their best-looking work for the most crucial time in finals time as Kelly Bowen draws some contact and tries to garner some energy from her side. Kelly Bowen with her side down by 24 points. Double the score, 48-24. Very few expected this scoreboard, no doubt, as we approached halftime. Kelly Bowen trying so hard for her side. She's got 8 points and 6 rebounds.
They look a little bit shell-shocked here at the moment, the Waverley Falcons. The captain, Kelly Bowen, though, has continued to step up. But they're going to need to go on a run here if they're to make any sort of a comeback.
Brewster. Garrick. Shear in the corner, and Tonidu with 10 to shoot. Brewster, guarded by Makritsky, working baseline, and just a little short in that attempt. Bowen for Miller. There's 3-on-1 here. Cunningham almost in the alley-oop. Gets it to, doesn't get it to go. It looked good off the hand. Miller loses her footing in the key. There's a scramble. There's some contact, and it is still a Waverley ball. Foul call looks like a Maddie Garrick. Her first personal foul, and third team foul for the Waverley Falcons. Oh, for the Spectres, rather. .14 to shoot here for Waverley. This gutsy side, which has won 8 consecutive games. That's a big reason why when Carly Ernst is knocking him down from there. Much needed basket just before halftime to reduce the margin to under 20 points. Brewster, Garrick. 12 to shoot. Pizzi turning around and knocking it down. 50 points and a half for Nunawading. No shot clock. 6 to shoot now in this half for Kelly Bowen. Looking for Makritsky. Kicking it out. Miller for 3. Well short. And they run out of time. But what a statement in this elimination final by the Spectres. The last time they played Waverley, they scored just 52 points for the game. At halftime in this game, they've got 50 points already. They lead by 21 points, 50-29. And Tonidu, Shear and Pizzi all in double figures. Liam, it's can't say it enough how impressive the Spectres have been in this quarter, in this half so far.
They've been unreal. I mean, moving the ball so well, as we've said time and time again. The offense is humming, and 22 up to 15. Kathleen Shear, we've sung her praises. She's been fantastic. Just the way they played team basketball has been awesome, and the Falcons look a little bit out of sorts here. They've got a big travelling crowd. 21 points the margin at half-time. It's unlikely but not impossible. We've seen them, come back from a 3-9 record to make the finals. Can they do the unthinkable again, Ben, and maybe at least make the Spectres think about it here in the second half?
Well, they've got 2 quarters to try and do that. We'll take a short break here on our NBL1 coverage and come back with second half action with the Spectres leading 50-29. The Falcons get on a run now. D'Angelo fooled them all and got through. Chelsea D'Angelo turning around on D'Angelo. Missing. Bowen, strong rebound and a strong finish as well. And Tonidu straight down the key, straight through for 2.
Bit of a breakdown there for the
so of game time. The Spectres have had an answer. Bowen stepping back, knocks it down. And she's having a good... might go herself, spinning around. Nice work for Slater, who she probably could have kept on going. Put on the floor, but nonetheless didn't matter. Donald, Bowen for 3. Boom!
Well, the Waverley
respective teams so far. And Tonidu, there's an assist for Kathleen Shear. For Waverley. Ernst trying to get around. Pizzi takes the responsibility herself. Ernst. That's her first field goal. She had 2 free throws go. Shear all by herself for 3. Kathleen Shear is putting... And Tonidu goes to work. Kicks it out for Garrick. Around Cunningham. It's party trick time. And Tonidu for 3. This gutsy side, which has won 8 consecutive games. That's a big reason why. 12 to shoot. Pizzi turning around and knocking it down. 50 points. Steps back and gives it off to Shear for 3. Kathleen Shear. And the Pizzy, Shear, back to Pizzy. One-on-one with their opponent in Bygate, and she gets and it really is danger times now for Waverley's Antoniadou with the left-hand finish. Movement from D'Angelo. D'Angelo's always driving to the basket, and she's scoring as well. Free for Carly Ernst. Locke all by herself, just on the court from the corner. Knocks it down. She had a really good look at the basket before Donald got a hand in there. Garrick might hit the three and gets the lucky drop. And Slater can't get it away from Cunningham, who on the third attempt, third three, denied by Shear. That was off her hands. Garrick keeps alive, straight to Locke, and Luxor control. Looks for D'Angelo, reverse, gets it to go. A buzzer beater from Chelsea. Antoniadou inside for Pizzy with 11 to shoot and banks it off the glass. Shoot for Carly Ernst. Oh, nice little 1-2 there with Bygate, and she gets the easy
Pick and roll as the ball handler, but worked well on that occasion.
Antoniadou, all nylon from beyond the on a run. And the Falcons get on a run now. D'Angelo fooled them all and got through. Chelsea D'Angelo turning around on D'Angelo. Missing Bowen, strong rebound and a strong finish as well. Antoniadou straight down the key, straight through for two.
Bit of a breakdown there for the
so of game time. The Spectres have had an answer. Bowen stepping back, knocks it down. And she's having a good, might go herself, spinning around. Nice work for Slater, who she probably could have kept on going. Put on the floor, but nonetheless didn't matter. Donald, Bowen for three. Boom!
Well, the Waverley
effective teams so far. Antoniadou, there's an assist for Kathleen Shear. For Waverley. Ernst trying to get around Pizzy, takes the responsibility herself. Ernst. That's her first field goal. She had 2 free throws go. Shear all by herself for 3. Kathleen Shear is putting. Antoniadou goes to work, kicks it out for Garrick. Around Cunningham. It's party trick time. Antoniadou for 3. This gutsy side, which has won 8 consecutive games. That's a big reason why. 12 to shoot. Pizzy turning around and knocking it down. 50 steps back and gives it off to Shear for 3. Kathleen Shear! And the Pizzy, Shear, back to Pizzy. One-on-one with their opponent in Bygate, and she gets and it really is danger times now for Waverley's Antoniadou with the left-hand finish. Movement from D'Angelo. D'Angelo's always driving to the basket, and she's scoring as well. Free for Carly Ernst. Locke all by herself, just on the court from the corner. Knocks it down. She had a really good look at the basket before Donald got a hand in there. Garrick might hit the three and gets the lucky drop. And Slater can't get it away from Cunningham, who on the third attempt, third three, denied by Shear. That was off her hands. Garrick keeps alive, straight to Locke, and Luxor control. Looks for D'Angelo, reverse, gets it to go. A buzzer beater from Chelsea. Antoniadou inside for Pizzy with 11 to shoot and banks it off the glass. Shoot for Carly Ernst. Oh, nice little 1-2 there with Bygate, and she gets the easy
pick and roll as the ball handler, but worked well on that occasion.
Antoniadou, all nylon from beyond the on a run. And the Falcons get on a run now. D'Angelo fooled them all and got through. Chelsea D'Angelo turning around on D'Angelo. Missing Bowen, strong rebound and a strong finish as well. Antoniadou straight down the key, straight through for 2.
Bit of a breakdown there for the
so of game time. The Spectres have had an answer. Bowen stepping back, knocks it down. And she's having a good, might go herself, spinning around. Nice work for Slater, who she probably could have kept on going. Put on the floor, but nonetheless didn't matter. Donald, Bowen for 3. Boom!
Well, the Waverley
effective teams so far. Antoniadou, there's an assist for Kathleen Shear. For Waverley. Ernst trying to get around Pizzy, takes the responsibility herself. Ernst. That's her first field goal. She had 2 free throws go. Shear all by herself for 3. Kathleen Shear is putting. Antoniadou goes to work, kicks it out for Garrick. Around Cunningham. It's party trick time. Antoniadou for 3. This gutsy side, which has won 8 consecutive games. That's a big reason why. 12 to shoot. Pizzy turning around and knocking it down. 50 steps back and gives it off to Shear for 3. Kathleen Shear! And the Pizzy, Shear, back to Pizzy. One-on-one with their opponent in Bygate, and she gets and it really is danger times now for Waverley's Antoniadou with the left-hand finish. Movement from D'Angelo. D'Angelo's always driving to the basket, and she's scoring as well. three for Carly Ernst. Lock all by herself, just on the court from the corner. Knocks it down. She had a really good look at the basket before Donald got a hand in there. Garrick might hit the three and gets the lucky drop. And Slater can't get it away from Cunningham, who on the third attempt, third three, denied by Shear. That was off her hands. Garrick keeps it alive. Straight to Lock. Third quarter, and we couldn't believe what we're seeing in the first half of this elimination final between Nunawading and the Falcons. But at halftime, the Spectres lead 50-29. And Nunawading, as we mentioned just before the break, only scored 52 points against the Falcons the last time they met back in round 11. They already have 50 points and a half. And it's been off the back of a couple of their stars in the starting five. Ben Waterworth alongside Liam Ellison with you on this NBL1 coverage. And as we have a look at sort of some of the the most important numbers so far, three players, Liam, in double figures points-wise at the half for Nunawading.
Yeah, it's been the three of Antonia Du, Pizzy, and of course Kathleen Shear, who's been fantastic. And they've done it on both ends. The Spectres been moving the ball well, but also defensively. They've held the Falcons to 10 of 37 from the field. Yeah. Just haven't been able to get it going. I mean, Carly Ernst only up to 7 points. She's hit a three at the end there of the first half, but she hasn't quite got into a groove. And same with Tegan Cunningham. We haven't seen a heap of her either offensively. So the Spectres getting it done on both ends of the floor. What can the Falcons do here in the second half to at least bring it back? 21 points, it's going to be tough, but it's not out of the question.
You mentioned a number of times throughout the first half about the ball movement of Nunawading, and assists aren't everything, but when you see an even amount of turnovers between the two sides and you see 13 assists to 5 in favour of Nunawading, that just goes to show how good their ball movement's been.
Yeah.
So underway, Garrick and Pizzy combining. And Nunawading with the basketball to start this do-or-die elimination final second half. There's a hand in there from McCritsky, who stopped the shot going through. Still a Nunawading ball. D'Angelo with 10 to shoot. Drives hard. And a good hand in there from Carly Ernst. Knocks it away. And the Falcons get a stop. Sam Donald on the floor. She's got 3 personal fouls to her name. The starting point guard for Waverley. Ernst with Pizzy in her face. Well off target. She might take it as an assist, but unfortunately Bowen couldn't get it to go. McCritsky can. And McCritsky gets the first points of the half.
There's that offensive rebounding, Ben, from Renee Matitsky. It's been a real revelation this season. 4 offensive rebounds per game for her throughout the regular season.
So foul called on Kelly Bowen, her first personal and first team foul for Waverley in this term. What have they got left, the Falcons? They have been colossal in this comeback and this surge to get to the finals. What have they got in this second half? They've got to try and stop Maddie Garrick. She's on the board in this second half of the 2.
Up to 7 points in the game now, Maddie Garrick. Hasn't had to, burden a huge offensive load with her teammates just on fire here, but she's been in the thick of it nonetheless.
That's so important as well. And her teammates have been able to lift around her. Carly Ernst backing down on Shear, turning around, and unlucky roll for Carly Ernst. It really hasn't been her night tonight. Garrick at the other end. Ernst and Cunningham on her. The 2 stars try to curtail her. D'Angelo thought about 3. Drives inside. Kicks it out for Kathleen Shear. What a game Kathleen Shear is playing. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
And that whole play started with Maddie Garrick drawing the double team as she drove baseline. There was about 4 passes that preceded that play, but that started the mismatches, and eventually Kathleen Shear was wide open at the top for 3.
It's now a 24-point lead for the Spectres. Kathleen Shear showing why she is one of the most valuable players in the league. Here she is, guarded by Ernst with 10 to shoot. Working with Garrick. Cunningham not letting out of her sights. Garrick gets around. She was hoping for D'Angelo on the no-look, but none forthcoming. Bowen takes on 2 Spectres and can't get past D'Angelo. Young Chelsea with the rejection.
And Kelly Bowen with the size advantage as well on Chelsea D'Angelo, but what a defensive play from the youngster.
Such an important player to have back into this side after missing a couple of weeks on international duties. You can see the energy she brings to the court. Kathleen Shear, she's bringing 3 balls to the court. Missed on that occasion. Off D'Angelo's hands and a Waverley ball. What are you looking for at the moment, Liam? You're looking for an individual lift, or are you looking for better ball movement? What are you looking for, something specifically from the Falcons at the moment?
Well, for starters, they've got to stop Nunawading first. I mean, they continue to move that ball wherever they want. They can slow them down, you know, stop these fast breaks, get some more stagnant offenses. D'Angelo for 3 on cue. Well, they couldn't stop it there. The Falcons is now out to a 27-point margin. They've got to clean up the defense before they can worry about the offense in my books, Ben.
Easier said than done, as always. What to think about for Elias Palianis. Here's Ernst. The hook shot on the right hand. That was well off target. And Carly Ernst tonight, just the 7 points. D'Angelo for a second consecutive 3. They can't be stopped on their home court tonight, Nunawading. And Chelsea D'Angelo is having a wonderful return game.
And they're rolling at the moment, the Spectres. Another 3 for Chelsea D'Angelo. And I love that whenever there's a rebound here for the Spectres, you just see the eyes straight away go up to down the floor. You know, they're running ahead and finding so many open players. It's awesome offense from the Spectres team.
See Jackie van der Zaag sort of really barking out the instructions, and now the coach, Elias Palianis, addressing his troops. It has been a tough start, a tough game overall for Waverley. They have got 2 stars of the competition. They now find themselves down by almost 30 points here at the Graveyard. Paul Flynn would be absolutely wrapped with what his team has been able to produce so far, and they don't have their best team on the court. They don't have Kira Rome. They don't have Izzy Chilcott as well. And if the Spectres get up tonight, which is certainly looking that way at the moment, they're both sort of 50-50 propositions to come back in next week. That's pretty handy, two inclusions.
Absolutely. And what's been so impressive as well for me from the Nunawading perspective is it's been the other players that have beaten the Falcons so far. I'm sure that they spent a lot of time planning for Matty Garrick, and Tegan Cunningham, for the most part, has done a great job in defending Garrick. But it's been the other players like Kathleen Shear, like Antonia Du, who have really got the Spectres out to this 30-point lead. And with, as you said, Rowe and Chilcott to come back in, so many options for this Nunawading team. The potential, as it looks like right now, to head into the next week of finals.
Yeah, so the winner of this game will play the loser of the game between Geelong and Ringwood, and that's at quarter time there. And Geelong lead 24-12 at the moment. The Super Cats, who've had a sensational 2019 campaign themselves. Kathleen Shear thought about the 3. Spinning around on Ernst. That's a pretty move. That's a pretty finish, and that sort of epitomises that everything is going right for Nunawading at the moment.
The confidence in that move from Shear as well. Spinning and fading on Carly Ernst.
31-point lead. Kelly Bowen gets inside. Some much-needed points for the Waverley Falcons.
Yeah, first Falcon as well to hit double digits. She's been clearly the leader for them today, the skipper.
He's playing a lone hand. Oh, Pissy's by herself for 3. Really is falling apart for the Falcons, and Nunawading are pouncing.
They are shooting the lights out from long range as well, Ben. 9 of 13 from the three-point arc. 69% at the moment.
At the other end, they're 3 of 10 after that miss from Bowen are the Falcons. This is the best the Spectres have looked all season. And what a time to play your best basketball. Shear calls for D'Angelo movement. She loses control though. She wanted a foul there, did Shear, but none forthcoming. Bowen pulls up for 2 and knocks it down. Kelly Bowen having a big game. 13 points, 8 rebounds for the captain. Now D'Angelo tries to get around Bowen. Tough shot, but Bowen is called for her second personal foul and the 3rd team foul for the Falcons in this quarter. You can see the contact there from Bowen just outside the no-charge zone. Shear takes a seat, and a richly deserved one as well. 17, 6 and 5 are her numbers, Kathleen Shear. D'Angelo into double figures as well. 4 Spectres into double figures tonight. And one of them is not Maddie Garrick. That's the most, I think if you're Paul Flynn at the moment, that's what you're most impressed about, is that this has been a team-orientated effort.
Absolutely, and some of those numbers as well really illustrate what we've been saying so often. 17 assists they're up to, as we said, 69% from 3 and also 55% from the field. Just some ridiculous offensive statistics, really.
Gee, Kelly Bowen is literally playing a lone hand for Waverley. This has been a wonderful solo performance from her, with her teams so off their game. Bowen has not stopped trying. Pizzi's rejected by Ernst. That's a bit of a team lifter. McCritsky is fouled by Slater. And just a little bit of energy and enthusiasm from Waverley with that piece of play. Donald with the basketball. She's been averaging just the 4 points per game this season, but among the top assists leaders in NBL1. Ernst with 10 to shoot. Hasn't had a great shooting night. Oh, nice look inside from McCritsky, and she was fouled. And will go to the line as well. That's the team basketball that the Falcons will be after.
Third assist of the game for Carly Ernst. Another lovely pass inside to Renee Mazitsky on that occasion.
Couple of subs. Locke will check back in as Donald takes a seat. Brewster also back onto the court. D'Angelo taking a seat. This is a bit of a statement that the Spectres are making to NBL1 tonight.
Been a great third period as well for Chelsea D'Angelo. Up to 13 points now in the game. A couple of three-pointers as well over the last couple of minutes.
Kritsky up to 8 points for the game. Brewster pulls up for a mid-range 2, and strong rebound from McCritsky. Well played. And able to find Carly Ernst playing point guard. Doesn't look like a sort of designated point guard out there on the court at the moment for the Falcons. Maybe should be Locke. Locke was nowhere near to bring the ball up the court though. Yeah. Brewster for 2, misses. And Ernst turned her back on the play. Gee, that's lucky in the end. Carly Ernst had turned her back on the play and was in her direction. Brewster with the easy rebound, then there's a foul has been called. Here's a look. See Ernst in the corner, and Brewster was there for the offensive rebound. So 4 team fouls in this quarter. Bowen with 3 personal fouls now. Shear back on the court. Slater. Now Shear, guarded by Ernst, fading away and getting it to drop. Kathleen Shear up to 19 points.
What a performance from Kathleen Shear. We've said it over and over, but she is going to work at the moment down low on Carly Ernst, who does look a little bit frustrated at the moment. I think that last possession, just looking away, she looked a little bemused, is blocked again by the Spectres.
Give that one to Shear. What a wonderful all-round game it has been by the tall. Garrick v. Cunningham looking for the crossover. Trying to force her way through, and she was called for the travel. Good defense from Tegan Cunningham, but even she's off her game today. 2 points, 10% field goal percentage. Just hasn't clicked for her either.
No, certainly not. And as we said earlier in the broadcast, she was probably the key player for this Falcons team the last time they won here at the Graveyard, but it has been a different outlook tonight.
So Lockie's running the point now. Oh, nice work inside again, and an assist from Ernst. Maybe a bit of a miscommunication on D from Nunawading. But again, Carly Ernst with her second dish of this quarter.
Well, maybe Carly Ernst is the point guard out there at the moment. She's up to 4 assists now. There's a nice pass.
Oh, beautiful pass, but not finished off by Boyd. Bowen almost had it knocked out of her hands. Ernst, McCritsky. Height mismatch here in favour of Shear. McCritsky, tough shot, but gets the offensive rebound. A lock for 3. And well off target.
Great defense from Kathleen Shear there on Renee Mochitsky. That's the situation she likes, you know, down low. Likes to go to work in that situation, but just the length of Shear to worry her out of the shot and into the miss.
Cunningham took a heavy tumble. Boyd kicks it out for Shear, who's been so hot from beyond the arc. She misses. Slater strong rebound, and she's got some contact. And that's the 5th team foul of this quarter. And it means that Slater, I think, will be going to the line to shoot a couple. And Bowen, that's her 4th personal foul as well. So their best player tonight is in foul trouble with 1:25 left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that is worrying signs. 18-9 for Bowen. If she was to get fouled out, that would be a brutal blow to this Falcons team, which is probably looking down the barrel of an elimination finals exit, unless they can pull off something miraculous.
Some good court time tonight for Sarah Slater, but no good on her 2 free throw attempts, but Shear with a strong offensive rebound. And the quick rush back on offense here for Nunawading. Slater, can she get it done this time with a layup? She can! Great response from Sarah Slater. Plenty to smile about if you're a Nunawading fan tonight. This has been a clinical performance. Locke left by herself for 3, and count it. All nylon on that shot.
She's been another positive for this Waverley team tonight off the bench, Nia Locke. Up to 8 points now in the game. A couple of steals as well. Just what you want from a guard off the bench. Some outside shooting, some defense. She might see some nice minutes down the stretch here.
So Izzy Fowler checking in for her first minutes of the game. Rachel Brewster also having a seat. And Tony Liu was fouled just beforehand, so she will be going to the line. You can see the fans here at the Graveyard streaming in. There's a double-header tonight at the Graveyard. We've got the men's semi-final coming up after this one between the Spectres and the Geelong Supercats. And knowing the strong Geelong Supercats fraternity, there should be a good travelling crew in Nunawading tonight. Tegan Cunningham with a tough 2-point attempt. Locke wanted that ball more than anyone else. Shear wanted the block more than anyone else. And then Cunningham got the 2 on the follow-up.
Well, Cunningham got it to go on the second attempt, but Kathleen Shear is having a block party here. 4 blocks in the game for Shear.
Then the complete game. And Toniadu loses control. Slater, mid-range 2, no good. And Toniadu still on the floor, but a little ginger getting up. It looks like she's okay. Miller, Ernst, locked by herself. She's demanding it. She drives hard and gives it straight back to Kathleen Shear. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. And Nunawading holding this commanding lead. They lead by 24 points as we turn for home at the Graveyard. 72-48. Let's just have a moment, I think, to talk about Kathleen Shear. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks to go with that. She is playing in that tall position, Kathleen Shear, at 190 centimetres. But she's playing it to perfection tonight with the all-round game. Yeah,
what an outstanding performance. And it should be noted as well that so much of this Waverley offense, you know, goes through Carly Ernst, it goes through Kelly Bowen, some of the bigs for the Falcons. So not only is she, you know, limited their output on the other end, but she's had an unbelievable offensive outing herself. She's been clearly the player of the game so far. And this Nunawading team, I mean, we spoke about at the end of the first how they're on 26 points already. The last time these two teams played, the final score was 62-52.
Yeah.
Well, Nunawading continued that pace, really. It had a 24-point second quarter and now a 22-point third quarter. Potentially a 100-point or close to performance from Nunawading here, who are shooting the ball as well at a 51% clip and 64% from 3, Ben.
Yeah, they got their offense really clicking in the latter half of the season. They scored 104 points against Diamond Valley and then 101 points against Knox in consecutive games. Then they went down to Kilsyth and Eltham in their last 2 games. They only scored about 70 points in both games. So we know that they're capable under Paul Flynn of registering 100-plus point performances, and you can see why tonight when they're just clicking like this on the big stage.
Yeah, the ball movement has been fantastic. 18 assists for the team. Of course, Maddie Garrick has been putting up 20 points per game this season, but hasn't needed to, you know, carry that offensive load as her teammates have been on fire. And she's been willing to just move it around. Lots of ball movement from this Nunawading team. It's been impressive.
Miller, catch and shoot off target. Sam Donald with a rebound, and Slater and makes her earn that rebound as well, as we see a jump ball and possession arrow with the Spectres. So nice win there for Sarah Slater. You can see her wrestling there with Van der Zaag, rather it was.
Van der Zaag getting her first minutes in this game here in the fourth period.
Antoniadu, first offensive look here in this fourth quarter for Nunawading. Garrick sees an opening, then was looking for Pizzy again. Just a couple of times Maddie Garrick's tried the fancy no look, and it just hasn't quite come off, and this time it's a Waverley ball. (72-48). Early stages of this fourth quarter. Pizzy with a steal, and she might go all the way, coast to coast, Rebecca Pizzy. Well, she pulled up. Good defense and a good comeback from Carly Ernst, and forces a stop for Waverley. Locke puts the foot to the accelerator. Referees converge and say it's still a Waverley ball, but that's the speed of Nia Locke streaming down the court.
I like that aggression a lot. I mean, perhaps she could have held it up and waited for a teammate, but in this situation when they've struggled so mightily, sometimes it's good from a coaching perspective just to see someone take the game on like Nia Locke just did.
Van der Zaag in the post on Maddie Garrick. Oh, almost a bit of a head clash, it looks like. That's an offensive foul called on Van der Zaag. That looked nasty. Let's have a look at it. Oh, gosh.
Cop that.
Maddie Garrick just took it like a boss. One tough competitor. That's what 3-on-3, playing so much of 3-on-3 will do for it as well.
Yes. Very physical game, the 3x3, of course. What she was doing before joining this Spectres team. Part of that very successful Australian 3x3 team.
Sort of sees it as her opening to get into the Olympics as well, Maddie Garrick. Here she is on cue, stepping back and missing. Just her 6th NBL1 game for the season, and arguably her quietest, and it's probably been Nunawading's best. Ernst. That was a tough-looking shot in the non-preferred left hand. So still no score in this fourth quarter. Garrick. Lethal pass out wide. Izzy Feller with the 2 attempt and a strong rebound from Miller. Both teams inaccurate from the field to start this term. Let's have a look at Rebecca Pizzy. She's not letting Carly Ernst, letting her any space. Deep 2 attempt from Bygates off target. Van der Zaag keeps it alive for Miller, so a fresh 14 for Waverley. Ernst, Miller. Oh, denied by Rebecca Pizzy. What a block that was. Still 4 to shoot though for Waverley. Locke needs to get it off. Van der Zaag runs out of time. Those points won't count, but that was a sensational block from Rebecca Pizzy.
Almost been a twin towers tonight, Kathleen Shear and Rebecca Pizzy. I think 6 blocks now between the two. And Waverley, you know, as we said, so much of their offense through their bigs, but it's been the Nunawading bigs tonight who have set the standard.
Still no score in this fourth quarter. Almost played 2.5 minutes. D'Angelo might stop that. Rebecca Pizzy falls up short. Offensive rebound. Hook shot misses. Ernst rebound.
Carly Ernst playing point guard at the moment for the Falcons. Inside to Bowen.
And nicely done by Kelly Bowen, who's back on the court. She's got 4 fouls to her name. But clearly been her side's best player. Garrick for 3. She misses. And again, Ernst running it down the court. Goes herself and is fouled. Somehow gets to go. She's going to the line.
Gee, that was a tough finish from Carly Ernst. Let's have another look at that one.
Yeah, clear contact from Pizzy. Her second personal foul. And timeout called. There hasn't been too many timeouts called at all in this game. Elias Palianis has really trusted his team, but they have been able to reduce the margin to 20. At one stage, the Margin was as much as 32 points halfway through the third quarter, but they've slowly been able to reduce the margin. But to try and reel in 20 points with just under 7 minutes remaining will be quite tough.
Well, at the three-quarter time break, I was singing Nunawading's praises about just the offensive blitz that they've been on, but they obviously yet to score here in the fourth period over the first 3 minutes. And perhaps that's what you talk about if you're Paul Flynn at the moment. I mean, they've set an unbelievable standard shooting the ball. That's come down a bit here in this last quarter. Can they finish it off with another 20-point period to really take some form into the next game? Because, as you said, Ben, I mean, if this free throw goes down, it's back to 19, but with 7 minutes to go, it's probably a bridge too far to climb.
So we've got some of the highlights so far. There's that shot from Carly Ernst, who's now up to 7 points so far in this game. Just shooting at 17% from the field, Carly Ernst. Struggling to convert, but she converts that free throw. And it is back to 19 points to complete the three-point play for Carly Ernst. Here's the hustle D, the full court press from Waverley. And they're called for the foul. Miller is called for the foul, and she's a little flabbergasted. Miller's first personal foul, second team foul for the Falcons. You can see out of that timeout, the coach put it on his players not to give the Spectres an inch. It genuinely is last team standing in this elimination final. Garrick somehow got around, but she was called for the travel. A couple of stops here for the Falcons, and Nunawading still yet to score in this quarter. Quick play down to Van der Zaag. She spins inside. It was a tough shot. Garrick did well not to give away the foul. And here is this hustle defense. And some composure just needed now for Nunawading. It's in good hands with Shear and Antoniadou going to work. Shear driving inside. I'm not sure if that was deliberate for D'Angelo. Nonetheless, D'Angelo picks up the pieces, and the foul is called on the Falcons. D'Angelo's 2 is counted. That's their first points of the quarter for Nunawading.
Just fell into her lap, really, didn't it?
Yeah. Sure, Kathleen Shear will take the assist nonetheless.
Bit of a wry smile as well, I think, there from Chelsea D'Angelo.
So D'Angelo only played was on the court for 2 games in the Under-19 World Cup, which the Aussie Gems came away with a silver medal in that fantastic campaign. But what an experience that would have been for her to be over with some of the best young basketballers in Australia. Shyla Heal, Miela Goodchild, Jazz Shelley.
And so many NBL1 players as well involved in that squad. Obviously, as you said, Jazz Shelley and a whole host from the COE. Lily Scallon, another one of those guards playing a key role.
21-point lead for the Spectres. Spygate demands the basketball. Shear guarding Ernst, who's stepping back and shooting 3 and knocking it down. Finally, Carly Ernst breaks the 3-point drought for Waverley. And the hustle D continues. Back to 18 points. Van der Zaag and Locke double team Pizzi. She did well. Shear drives in and banks it in the glass. What a performance from Kathleen Shear. 21 points. Ernst for Locke. Not going to die without trying, will Waverley. Ernst, a deep 3 is off target. Van der Zaag from behind did well to force it off Nunawading hands. It was off Garrick. So a sideline ball, baseline ball rather, for the Falcons with a fresh 14 to shoot. Van der Zaag has certainly brought the energy to the court. And she steps off onto the bench. And Cunningham steps back on. And Van der Zaag gets a good round of applause from the Falcons as well. The Falcons contingent. Ernst, Miller, Locke. Didn't go for Bygate in the end. She went for the tough shot, and there may have been a hand in there from D'Angelo.
That's the 10th block of the game for the Spectres.
Oh, gee, Maddie Garrick not too happy with the attention there from Miller. Just shoved her away after that foul was committed.
Well, there's 5 minutes to go in this contest. I mean, obviously it's a 21-point ball game, but Nunawading have managed just 5 points here in the last quarter. What a pass, though, from Shear.
Oh, sensational team basketball. Garrick finishes off the reverse, and she's up to 9 points. Maddie Garrick. If you said that Nunawading were going to win by 20-plus points, you'd think Garrick would having a big say. No, she's only got the 9 tonight. Ernst for 3. She misses. And Tonidu, who really was the catalyst behind that fast Nunawading start. Shear, who's clearly had the better of Ernst tonight in the battle of the bigs. 10 to shoot for Antoniadu. With the Spectres heading towards a big elimination final victory. Antoniadu was fouled on her way through. No points will be counted, but another foul on Miller, her third personal. And fourth team foul for Waverley. Just to also note as well, in case you missed it, Kelly Bowen also fouling out for Waverley. She's had the 5 personal fouls, but clearly been her side's best player tonight.
Yeah, 20 points and 9 rebounds for Kelly Bowen. I mean, the game was probably already out of reach for Waverley when she was fouled out, but nonetheless a big blow because for so long she was the lone hand for this Waverley team.
Slater for Brewster, pulling up. She loves the deep 2 attempt, Rachel Brewster, and knocks it down perfectly with all net. 81 to 56. We're into the final stages of this elimination final. Bishop on the court and falling well short with that attempt. What a wonderful occasion this will be for Nunawading. Double-header tonight on their home court. 2 finals, both sudden death finals. And the perfect start in game 1. Ewan checks back in. Locke takes a seat on the bench. And
it's an awesome turnout as well from this Nunawading crowd. And you could really feel it at the start of this contest when the game was there to be won. And Nunawading went on that 17-2 run. The crowd was really getting behind them. And it felt like the court was just tilting a little bit, Ben, because they were running downhill and the crowd were getting around them. It did give them a lift.
Foul on Carly Ernst. Her third personal, 15 foul, and it means that Antoniadu will be going to the line. This has been a great and timely return to form as Louisa Fakalata checks in for the first time, and she's got a big contingent of supporters as well. Has the 16-year-old, just 16 years of age, Louisa Fakalata. Antoniadu misses. But Antoniadu, in the weeks leading up, had 2 quiet games, just 9 points against Kilsyth, 4 against Eltham. But tonight she has really lifted her output. 17 points, 5 rebs, 6 dimes. Cunningham for Ernst. Mid-range 2, knocks it down. Carly Ernst getting some points, unfortunately, though, in junk time. Up to 15 points, Carly Ernst.
Well, to her credit, she's fought hard. The shot hasn't been dropping towards the start. She does have 5 assists and 2 blocks to her name, so she's been in the thick of it, but unfortunately, a lot of those early threes just didn't fall.
Busy with the floater, misses, and then a foul called on Slater. Her third personal foul. Second, rather, third team foul for the Spectres in this turn. Ewan running the point. As we tick into the final 2.5 minutes. Bishop, Cunningham, well, it was a poor turnover in the end, and they might make them pounce. They might pounce here, will the Spectres. Fakalata brings it down. And Tonidu, Pizzy by herself. She thinks about the 3, puts it up and knocks it down. And that is a sweet triple from Rebecca Pizzy.
Another great performer this evening for the Spectres. Rebecca Pizzy up to 16 points in the ball game now as Ernst lets it fly.
Yeah, just letting it fly from all directions at the moment. Both teams. Antoniou fooled them all, drove baseline and met some heavy contact, and once again will be heading to the stripe. Rachel Antoniou. She's been going at 86% from the field tonight.
Nice hesitation move there on the dribble, and I mean that's been the story of her game this evening. She's been so hard to stop with the ball in hand.
So Busy takes a seat, but what a game she has played, and what a back end of the season she's had. She scored, that means 10 plus points in 7 of her last 8 games, Rebecca Pizzi. And she's also been averaging almost 10 rebounds from her past 8 games as well. She has been a mighty find and a much improved player for Nunawading this season. Antoniou knocks down both, and she takes a seat, and now the bench is going to have some real good court time.
And you can see all her teammates standing up, congratulating her on what's been an outstanding performance. I mean, we said earlier how, influential she was over the first few minutes, and a big reason why Nunawading got out to that huge lead, and they've never looked back since. Her, along with Kathleen Shear, deserve a heap of credit for the way they played this evening, the Spectres.
Nice move from Locke. She couldn't get it to drop, but she will be going to the line nonetheless. I suppose when we reflect now on the Falcons season, it's now down by 29 points with just over a minute and a half remaining. It has been a remarkable rise. At 3-9, you wouldn't have guessed that they'd be in this situation, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, 3-9 to 11-9, they finished the regular season at 8 in a row. They went down to Tassie. They had to win to secure their spot. They went 2-2. They've got a lot to be proud of, Ben. I mean, first season up in the NBL1 from the Big V.
Yep.
So, a lot to take away from it. But in the end, a disappointing finish, and especially the way this has turned out. I mean, now 27 points the margin. Could have been a lot closer, but a lot to be proud of.
And that's the thing about when you start from so far back, you can go on this winning run, but gosh, you exude a lot of energy in the lead up to try and get into finals. It does take a lot out of you, and you just wonder if the week off in between, they weren't able to continue that momentum. They had to reset again. They were on such a winning roll. Just wonder if that had an influence on this performance this afternoon. Yeah,
and it was an interrupted start to the year as well for Waverley. They lost a number of games by just small margins. Yeah. I think it was 4 games by a total of 12 points. And then towards the middle section of the season, Carly Ernst was out injured for a couple of games. So just took them a while to get into their groove. And perhaps if a few things went their way at the start of the year, it could have been a different outlook for this Waverley team.
Here is Van der Zaag. Strong offensive rebound from her, and she caught some contact as she was putting up this shot. Foul was caught on Slater, it looks like. Her 4th personal foul, and now the Spectres in the bonus, but Van der Zaag will be going to the line. Only 67% free throw shooter, Jackie Van der Zaag. Nunawading on the verge of hitting the 90-point barrier tonight. Misses both. Brewster brings it down. Fakalata on the court. You just get the feeling if she gets some points in this last minute, this place will go bananas. Lots of support for the 16-year-old out there. Can they get the ball in her hands? Boyd, inboard for Brewster. Stripped by the Falcons. Van der Zaag is locked to her left, and Locke with a right-hand finish, no good. Great follow-up from Van der Zaag. She was fouled by Slater putting up the shot, and that might be Slater's 5th foul, so she will be fouled out for the game, and Rebecca Pizzi will get some final seconds on the court. And she's had some good minutes tonight, Sarah Slater. Van der Zaag will have another crack from the stripe. So both benches seeing some good court time in the final few minutes of this elimination final, which will see the Spectres survive another day. Fakalata checks it all the way out to Boyd for 3. She misses. Van der Zaag not giving up. Still pushing hard. Steps back with an interesting looking mid-range jumper. Here's a chance for Fakalata. She tries to get through and she's fouled, and she will have a chance for points. Foul called on Ewan.
What a performance from Nunawading. We've spoken about it, but hey, I mean, it's always hard to win a premiership from outside the top four, Ben. But and we saw last night, Bendigo fell in a shock result.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's wide open. And the way they played tonight, going on a run where they win 4 in a row and go all the way, it's not out of the question. They have moved the ball fantastically. This fourth quarter hasn't been, you know, quite the pace they set in the first 3, but they showed a lot, Nunawading, and Matty Garrick didn't have to do a lot offensively. The likes of Shear stepping up, D'Angelo, and with players to come back, this Spectres team could be one to watch.
Final 10 seconds of this game. Well played by Brewster. Gets a hand in there. It'll be off her hands. Only 7 seconds remaining. But you're right, Liam. This has been a wonderfully clinical performance from Nunawading. They'll have the final shot here, Waverley. Van der Zaag puts it up and misses. But what a time to play your best game of the year, Nunawading. A commanding elimination final victory over Waverley, 89-61, and they remain alive in the NBL1 finals. They defeat the Falcons by 28 points here at the Graveyard, and in one of the best team-orientated performances of their 2019 campaign. And they will now play in the semi-final against the loser of Geelong and Ringwood, a game currently going on at the moment. But in the end, Liam, it was set up by that 17-2 run at the start of the game, and a 26-12 lead at quarter time, and they were never really seriously challenged from there.
Yeah, those first 3 quarters, offensively, they were unreal. They were shooting above 60% from beyond the arc, 50% from the field. Kathleen Shear was unbelievable, not only in scoring and rebounding, but her assist in the defense as well. 4 blocks to her name for Kathleen Shear. Did a fantastic job in limiting Carly Ernst, as we see the Waverley fans just go over there and congratulate their team and what's been, you know, a remarkable season to make the playoffs, from going to 3-9 to 11-9. Meanwhile, the Spectres thank their fans for coming out, and it was a really good turnout by the Nunawading fans tonight.
Yeah, great turnout, and they're all set for the next game as well. Just a quick word on the Falcons. We talked about it a little bit beforehand, but what a remarkable comeback they've had this season. Plenty of positives to take into next year.
Absolutely. A lot to take into next year. First season up from the Big V. They can be pleased, but Nunawading, meanwhile, they'll advance. I mean, as you said, play the loser of Geelong and Ringwood, and they showed a lot for me in this game, Ben. And, you know, those two teams, Geelong and Ringwood, are going to be tough to beat, but with all the firepower that this team has, I wouldn't rule it out.
Geelong looking the goods at the moment. They lead by 20 points at half-time. So it could be the Hawks that they play, but we'll wait and see on that result. You can check out that result on the NBL1 app and, of course, the NBL1 website as well. But here at the Graveyard, it was the Spectres defeating the Falcons to keep their finals hopes alive. Liam, been a pleasure working with you, mate.
Absolutely. As always.
As always. We'll see you around plenty of time. On behalf of the team out here, this is Ben Waterworth signing off with the Spectres defeating the Falcons 89-61. And a strong finish as well. And Tony Do straight down the key, straight through for 2.
Bit of a breakdown there for the...
So of game time, the Spectres have had an answer. Bowen stepping back, knocks it down. And she's having a good... might go herself, spinning around. Nice work for Slater, who she probably could have kept on going. Put on the floor, but nonetheless didn't matter. Donald, Bowen for 3. Boom!
Well, the Waverley
respective teams so far. And Tony Do, there's an assist for Kathleen Shear. Or Waverley. Ernst trying to get around Pizzy. Takes the responsibility herself. Ernst. That's her first field goal. She had 2 free throws go. Shear all by herself for 3. Kathleen Shear is putting... And Tony Do goes to work. Kicks it out for Garrick. Around Cunningham. It's party trick time. And Tony Do for 3. His gutsy side, which has won 8 consecutive games. That's a big reason why. 12 to shoot. Pizzy turning around and knocking it down. 50 points. Take it as an assist, but unfortunately Bowen couldn't get it to go. Makritsky can. And Makritsky gets the first. Drives inside. Kicks it out for Kathleen Shear.
His fast breaks, get some more stagnant offenses. D'Angelo for three on cue. Well, they could.
7 points. D'Angelo for a second consecutive three. They can't be stopped. Thought about the three. Spinning around on Ernst. That's a pretty move. That's a pretty finish, and that sort of epitomises that everything is. Kelly Bowen gets inside. Some much needed points. He's playing a lone hand. Oh, Pizzy's by herself for three. Really is falling apart for the Falcons. Another one. A foul there, did she, but unforthcoming. Bowen pulls up for two and knocks it down.
5% from the field. Just some ridiculous offensive statistics, really.
Gee, Kelly Bowen is literally with 10 to shoot. Hasn't had a great shooting night. Oh, nice look inside from Makritsky, and she was fouled. Now Shear, guarded by Ernst, fading away and getting it to drop. Kathleen. Oh, nice work inside again, and an assist from Ernst. On offense here for Nunawading. Slater, can she get it done this time with a layup? She can. Great response, clinical performance. Locke left by herself for three and count it. All nylon on that 2-point attempt. Locke wanted that ball more than anyone else. Shear wanted the block more than anyone else. And then Cunningham
playing point guard at the moment for the Falcons. Inside to Bowen.
And nicely done by Kelly Bowen, who's back on the running it down the court. Goes herself and is fouled somehow. Shear driving inside. I'm not sure if that was deliberate for D'Angelo. Shear guarding Ernst, who's stepping back and shooting three and knocking it down. Finally, she did well. Shear drives in and banks it in the glass. Slater for Brewster, pulling up. She loves the deep two attempt, Rachel Brewster, and knocks it down. Pizzy by herself. She thinks about the three, puts it up and knocks it down. Steps back and gives it off to Shear for three. Kathleen Shear! And the Pizzy, Shear, back to Pizzy. One-on-one with their opponent in Bygate, and she gets it. It really is danger times now for Waverley's Antoniadou with a left-hand finish. Movement from D'Angelo. D'Angelo's always driving to the basket, and she's scoring as well. Free for Carly Ernst. Locke all by herself, just on the court from the corner. Knocks it down. She had a really good look at the basket before Donald got a hand in there. Garrick might hit the three and gets the lucky drop. And Slater can't get it away from Cunningham, who on the third attempt, third three, denied by Shear. That was off her hands. Garrick keeps it alive, straight to Locke, and Luck's a control. Looks for D'Angelo, reverse, gets it to go. A buzzer beater from Chelsea. Antoniadou inside for Pizzy with 11 to shoot and banks it off the glass. Shoot for Carly Ernst. Oh, nice little 1-2 there with Bygate, and she gets the easy
pick and roll as the ball handler, but worked well on that occasion.
Antoniadou, all nylon from beyond the on a run. And the Falcons get on a run now. D'Angelo fooled them all and got through. Chelsea D'Angelo turning around on D'Angelo. Missing. Bowen, strong rebound and a strong finish as well. Antoniadou straight down the key, straight through for two.
Bit of a breakdown there for the
so of game time. The Spectres have had an answer. Bowen stepping back, knocks it down. And she's having a good, might go herself, spinning around. Nice work for Slater, who she probably could have kept on going. Put on the floor, but nonetheless didn't matter. Donald, Bowen for three. Boom!
Well, the Waverley
effective team so far. Antoniadou, there's an assist for Kathleen Shear. Or Waverley. Ernst trying to get around Pizzy, takes the responsibility herself. Ernst. That's her first field goal. She had 2 free throws go. Shear all by herself for three. Kathleen Shear is putting. Antoniadou goes to work, kicks it out for Garrick. Around Cunningham. It's party trick time. Antoniadou for three. This gutsy side, which has won 8 consecutive games. That's a big reason why. 12 to shoot. Pizzy turning around and knocking it down. 50 points. Take it as an assist, but unfortunately Bowen couldn't get it to go. Makritsky can. And Makritsky gets the first. Drives inside. Kicks it out for Kathleen Shear.
His fast breaks, get some more stagnant offenses. D'Angelo for three on cue. Well, they could.
7 points. D'Angelo for a second consecutive three. They can't be stopped. Thought about the three. Spinning around on Ernst. That's a pretty move. That's a pretty finish, and that sort of epitomises that everything is. Kelly Bowen gets inside. Some much needed points. He's playing a lone hand. Oh, Pizzy's by herself for three. Really is falling apart for the Falcons. And Nunawading. A foul there, did Shear, but unforthcoming. Bowen pulls up for two and knocks it down.
5% from the field. Just some ridiculous offensive statistics, really.
Gee, Kelly Bowen is literally with 10 to shoot. Hasn't had a great shooting night. Oh, nice look inside from McCritsky, and she was fouled. Now Shear, guarded by Ernst, fading away and getting it to drop. Kathleen. Oh, nice work inside again, and an assist from Ernst. On offense here for Nunawading. Slater, can she get it done this time with a layup? She can. Great response, clinical performance. Locke left by herself for three, and count it. All nylon on that. 2-point attempt. Locke wanted that ball more than anyone else. Shear wanted the block more than anyone else, and then Cunningham
playing point guard at the moment for the Falcons. Inside to Bowen.
And nicely done by Kelly Bowen, who's back on the running it down the court. Goes herself and is fouled. Somehow. Shear driving inside. Not sure if that was deliberate for D'Angelo. Shear